Hi, I'm Johnny and you're watching the Hexy Beast. And on this episode, we're going to be doing something pretty special. We're going to be doing a preview of this game right here, Quests and Cannons by Short Hop Games. And I think it's important to mention that this is a prototype version, so the components are subject to change. Anyway, let's get it to the table. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a supply of all the various tokens in the game. So we have our money, which that shouldn't be in there, it should be beer. We have our hits, we have cannons, and we have sails, and then it's just the square resource tokens, which are lumber, canvas, metal, spice, and gems. And basically, for the rest of the video, these are going to be off screen as the save table space. So let's get on with setting up the player board. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be doing is setting up our player board, and the character I've chosen today is going to be Elwing Songfeather. And we're basically just going to place it in here. And as you can see, there's some starting statistics. So we start with one sail. We also have one cannon, which are, if you may notice, both of these are double-sided. So we're going to put it in the unfired side here. And we also start the game with 3 cargo slots. So we're going to take some of these crate tokens and cover up 3 slots on our player board, like so. Also, we're going to be choosing 3 other characters to be our AI. And all these basically function is that they have 2 cannons each, always, until they reach a certain point in the game where they gain cannon. And we'll explain that when we're playing anyway. So I'm just going to put these aside. We also start with 5 of these cannon dice and 3 coins over here. As well as that, we're going to take our action marker, which is this funky little clear thing. Place it on the 3 spot. We're also going to take this treacherous seas dice and we're going to place it over here. Then, because we're going to be playing the solo game on easy, we're going to be setting it up in this 2v2v2 layout in the book. Just like this. And then we're basically going to be taking all of these tokens with a question mark on the back of them, and we're going to be placing them on each island space on the board. Just like this. Okay, so now it's time to set up the enemy AI. And to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to use the map clues, making sure that we do not place them 2 spaces or less away from a starting space. And the 3 clues we have drawn, in this case, is Paradise Enclave, Orchid's Vale, and Bogey Cliffs. So I'm just going to go place their ships now. So that's Bogey Cliffs, Orchid's Vale, and Paradise Enclave, respectively. And in the solo mode, everything starts with 2 cannons. So we're going to give them all 2 cannons as a reminder for ourselves. Then we're basically going to shuffle all these loot cards, all these quest cards, and all these map clues, and place them around the edges of the board, just like this. Then we're going to take 2 of these prosperity tokens. This one's going to be marking my prosperity score, and then I'm just going to take another random one from the box and use it as a round tracker. Then we're basically going to take our character and choose any one of these starting spaces to begin in. And I think I'm going to start in this one today. Then, as the last step, we're just going to draw 1 map clue for ourselves. That's convenient. Okay, so in Quests and Cannons, what we're trying to do is earn 15 prosperity before this round tracker gets to the end. And to do this, as you've probably seen by our map clue, we basically need to either solve these map clues, do quests, or there's a few other ways to gain it. But as you can see, in this case, if we were to spend an action at Contratol, which is actually right by our starting space, we would gain 1 prosperity or 1 loot. So I think for our first turn, we should probably look at completing this map clue. It's also worth noting that because we're playing solo and we're using a cargo type hero as Elwing Songfeather, that we also have to complete 3 hard quests by the end of the game. Okay, so when taking turns in Quests and Cannons, what we're doing is we're spending these action points in order to perform 3 different actions on the board. And the actions we can perform are move, where we spend an action point to move a space. There's also some terrain restrictions, which I'll go over in a minute. And we can either gather, which is picking up cargo on an island we're in, and we can also attack other ships, which I'm hoping doesn't happen too often in this game. Okay, so let's spend our first action point to move into Conch Atoll, because we actually have a map clue for that space. Okay, so that's one action point and one space into Conch Atoll. And because we got one of these face down question marks, we now get to explore as a free action. So I'm going to turn that up, and it turns out there's actually canvas at Conch Atoll. We also get 1 coin for being the first to discover this. So here's our coin. Also at this point we would gain a quest. So let's have a look what quest we got. Sailing through the islands with cargo holds filled to the brim. Dark clouds build in the distance and winds shift direction, carrying the foul stench of the storm. You must navigate the gale. So, in order to complete this objective, we must successfully navigate a treacherous sea. And I think we might try and do that with our next action actually. But before we do that, let's turn in this map clue. And to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to spend one action on the island we're on in order to lay this out in front of us, which means we've completed it. And by doing this, we will get the rewards on the bottom of the card, which in this case is either 1 prosperity or 1 loot. So this seems like it's going to be a good point to deal with loot cards. Okay, so loot comes in 2 types. We have these blue ship equip type loot, which we can put in one of our ship slots. And we also get these one-time use cards that allow us to have one-time abilities. So in this case, we'll be able to use this on our turn. A rival ship of my choice that shares a space with me cannot fire cannons on me. So this would stop someone firing cannons if they were to chase us down. Okay, so I'm going to draw one of these loots. And aha! We've got a ship equip. And I'm just going to equip this in my ship slot. And I think for our final action this turn, what we're going to do is we're going to try and navigate this treacherous sea, because we actually have a quest for that. So let's move on to this space. Okay, so now what we do is we roll this blue dice, and if it lands on a 4, 5, or 6, we get to move in any direction we want. And if it doesn't hit a 4, 5, or 6, we basically take 1 damage, and we're going to place it... Ooh, that's lucky. If we had failed that, we would have placed it in one of these slots. So we got a 5, which means we can move. Okay, so we rolled a 5. So in this case, I think I'm tempted to anyway move into Condor's Flight. This isn't really a smart move, as that would actually put me in range of this enemy by here, but it's going to be a good opportunity to show off combat, so I'm going to do that. Also, because we've landed on another island with a question mark token on it, as a free action, we're going to explore. Ooh, we found some lumber, and we're going to do the same as last time and draw a quest and get our coin. So, here's our coin, and here's our quest. Oh look, it's different to the last one. We've got a darker background. This is basically one of those quests I was talking about as one of our objectives, one of the harder ones. And in order to complete this one, what we need to do is deliver 1 metal and 1 spice to Squawbound Librarium, and we'll talk about cargo in a second. Okay, so that's all our action points spent, and we're going to be moving on to the next round. But first, we need to check if any of the enemies are in range, which in this case, this one is, because for the amount of cannons they got is how far their range stretches. So because she has 2 cannons, she is actually going to move into my space and roll 2 of these black cannonball dice to see if she hits. And she'll hit for every 4 pips. And in this case, we actually rolled a 3. And she didn't actually hit us, so we're not going to take any damage. Okay, so let's move on to the next round by advancing the round marker. We're now on round 2. Also, any AI who fired cannons this turn will refresh 2 of their cannons. Okay, so it's back onto our turn, and based on our current position, I think I might actually show you how sails work, and I'm gonna try and move into this space, which is a rough sea space. The difference between a calm sea space and a rough sea space is basically, in a calm sea, it'll cost you 1 action to move in there, or in a rough seas, it'll cost you 2 actions. And let's just talk about sails a second. Okay, so the way sails work is they will basically add 1 unit of movement for each sail used to your normal movement. So, for example, we're trying to move into rough seas, and I'm going to spend 1 action point to do it and a sail. So that for a total of 2 movement points in order to be able to move into that rough sea space. Just like this. Okay, so interestingly enough, we have 2 action points left, and we mustn't forget about this completed map clue. Because if we were to return these map clues to our home spaces, we would actually gain a prosperity, which is how we win the game. So I'm tempted to spend these last 2 action points moving back home in order to return this map clue. So I'm going to spend 2 action points to move back in to starter space. And while I'm here, I'm going to discard this map clue in order to gain this 1 prosperity, which has basically just gotten us off the line. There's also a couple more things we can do at our starting space, which we could have done before we started the game also, which is to repair our ship for 3 coins per damage. We could also buy ammo as 1 coin for 2 ammo, or we could sell any of the stuff we've picked up, which we haven't picked anything up at the minute. Also, as we are not in range of any of our enemies, they're all just going to stay where they are. And another thing to remember is that between turns we also need to return our action points and refresh our sails. If we had spent any cannons, we would also flip these back over as well. And I just realised that I was actually moving the wrong piece last turn, so I've swapped them back over. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so looking where we are now, I think what I might do is actually spend my first action and a sail in order to go over to Birdie Cove and see what's under here. Because for one of our hard quests, what we need is a metal and a spice, and I don't think we've actually found any of them on the board so far. Okay, so for this move action, I'm going to need 1 action point and a sail in order to move to Birdie Cove. Okay, so let's move to Birdie Cove and explore. And oh, it's the spice we need. So same as before, when we explore, we're going to get another coin and another quest card. Let's see what we got here. Okay, the trading post of Mirrorheim are always a good place to find whatever you need, but once in a while you will find something truly spectacular amongst the curious of the vendor stands. So in this case we have to trade loot and 3 coins at a trading post, and it'll get us 1 prosperity and 2 coins. It's worth noting at this point that the maximum amount of quests, maximum amount of loot, or the maximum amount of map clues we can have in our hand at any given time is 3. So because we've got 3 quests right now, if we were to pick up another quest, we would either have to discard one of these or discard the quest we were going to pick up. And now I'm going to spend 1 action point in order to perform the gather action. Okay, so because we're at an island we've explored with spice at it, it means we can perform a gather action to pick up as much spice as our cargo can hold. So let's do that now. Okay, so right now the maximum we can hold is 3. So I'm going to get 1, 2, and 3 spice to be getting on with. Okay, so with my third action this turn, I'm thinking about using this treacherous sea space to hop over to Dahlia's demise. It will leave me in range of this old enemy over here, but I think what we need is to really go around and look for some of that metal for that hard quest. So let's do that now. So that was 1 action point onto here. Then we're going to have to roll this blue dice again. See what we get. Oh, we get a 2. That's not good. Okay, so because we got a 2 and we failed the roll, we're going to take 1 damage by placing one of these markers over one of our hearts. And we're going to place this into the +1 slot by here, meaning next time we roll it, we're going to get a +1 modifier. So that's the end of our turn. It's time to move on to round 4. Okay, so that's no enemies in firing range, and the round tracker up to round 4. Refresh our action points and our sails. And away we go. Okay, so we're just going to spend our first action point to move on to Dahlia's demise, and we're going to explore by here, which is a canvas. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 1 action point and use my sail in order to sail over to Eagle's Landing. And for my free action, it's a metal. Okay, so what I'm going to do for my final action, my turn, is I am going to gather some metal. Okay, so that's 1 coin and a quest for exploring. See what we got. Liver metal and gems. Ooh, well, we have got metal. It's a boulder point stronghold, and that's quite a bit away from where we are. So I think what we're going to do, even though it's one of the nice advanced quests, these nice hard ones that we really need, I'm actually going to discard this one. So we're basically going to be spending our last action of this turn to gather metal for this quest. So yeah, so we're going to take the 1 metal and we're going to replace a spice in our cargo hold. But wait, this guy is in range. So what's going to actually happen first is he is going to move over to our space and he's going to fire 2 cannons at us. So let's roll some cannonballs and see what happens. Is it? Oh no. Okay, so because he's rolled a 9, that means he's going to get 1 hit for every 4 pips, and that's going to be 2 hits. Ouch. Okay, so now we're on to round 5, and something special happens here, and I'm going to show you that now. Okay, so at rounds 5 and rounds 10, what's going to happen is that each of the AI is going to gain an extra cannon. And also, don't forget that this guy's going to refresh his too, from when he shot at us last turn. And as well as that, we're going to draw another 3 map clues to scatter them around the board. So we're going to have this guy in Paradise Enclave, this guy in Orchid's Vale, and this guy at Bogey Cliffs. So that means that we're going to be going into round 5 looking like this. But it's also worth pointing out, because now they've got an extra cannon, I've also got to worry about an extra space of range. As well as that, they're going to roll 3 cannonball dice when they shoot at me. So anyway, let's get these off the board and let's get on with turn 5. Well, the good thing is that if we can get into this space by here, he actually won't be able to hit us. And we also happen to have a quest to deliver there, which is worth 3 prosperity, 1 loot, and 3 coins. Whoever said I wasn't a coward, eh? Okay, so yeah, I may be being a coward, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to redeem myself by trying to get to this space by using a treacherous seas. At least then, you know, you'll all think I'm brave. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend our first action to move in here. And we're going to roll the blue dice. Remember, we got +1 because we took it out of that slot on our player board. Oh, nice. We actually rolled a 5, which means we can now choose to, for free, move into this space. Which is where I'm now going to also drop off this quest. Okay, so let's look at this quest again. So that's 1 metal and 1 spice. Yes. We are at Scorebound Librarium. Yes. Okay. So, let's set this down to one side as a reminder that we've got to get 3 of them by the end of the game. Spend our spice and metal. And in return, what we're going to do is we're going to gain 3 prosperity, a loot, and 3 coins. So first, I'm going to grab 3 coins and a loot. Ooh, it's a one-time use. Nice. And then I'm also going to gain 3 prosperity on this track. Okay, although we've still got 2 actions left this turn, I just want to talk about a few things. So while we're at the outpost, if I was smarter for the first action this turn, what I would have done is I would have gathered 1 more metal so that I could have spent the metal and 3 coins to get myself an extra cannon. If I had kept myself a canvas or lumber and 3 coins, I would get a sail and a cargo slot respectively. So I think you've got a rough idea how the game plays now. The main idea, of course, is to keep doing the quests, gathering loot, solving those map clues. In basically what you're going to do then is you're going to hopefully try and get 15 prosperity and complete your goals by the end of the game. So let's just get back to the table for a minute and I'm just going to tell you what I think so far. Okay, so that was a quick look at how the game is played. Now I'm going to tell you what I think, and as this is a preview, it doesn't get a score attached to it, but what I'm going to say is that I have really enjoyed my time with quests and cannon so far. I've really found that it lends itself really well to replayability with variable map setups. The difficulty can be adjusted quite a bit. Mechanically, I quite enjoy the whole quest, map, clue, loot system. It's like having 3 directions to go in at any time. It's like no matter what you're doing, you've always got 3 choices to make. I also found that thematically, it really did feel like a swashbuckling adventure. It kind of reminded me a bit of some of the Zelda games, similar to the Wind Waker. So for me, I am actually really looking forward to when this game goes live on Kickstarter on the 21st of September. So if you like what you see on this channel or see something on that shelf behind me that you want to check out, please feel free to check out the link to Firestone Games in my description. I'm also going to have a link in the description for the Kickstarter page for this game. So if you like what you see here, please feel free to smash that subscribe button over there. Check out another one of my videos by here. I've been Johnny. You've been watching The Hexy Beast. Thank you for watching, and most of all, stay hexy, everyone.